Well, this is very important. You need to know how to fill out income tax return for your business. So in today's conversation, I'll be giving you general guidelines you need to know when it comes to filing your business taxes this year. Don't you go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it.
One in a million, one in a million, one in a million. You know they're coming up to me, cause I'm just the kind of flower that's stinging from the beat, but the rhythm's getting higher. Go, 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 go. One in a million, one in a million, one in a million, one in a million, one in a million.
Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Shorty Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous if you were to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to explain to you how to fill out income tax return for business, okay? So this is a complete guide to filing your business taxes this year. Let me first give you an overview. So filing taxes can be a bear. Between deadlines, line items, and completing forms, there's a lot of information to know, right? And whether it's your first time filing taxes for your small business or you are a seasoned business owner, you may quite have things may be a little complicated. So if you're looking for answers, this is the video for you. So first of all, what is the business tax return? And this is for the rookies out there. If you own a business, you need to file a company tax return. And a business tax return reports your company's income, tax deductions, and tax payments. And all businesses must file tax returns. And you are responsible for filing your return annually with the IRS to calculate your business's tax liability. And so the specific form you file depends on your type of business entity and which deductions you claim on the return. For example, you may be able to claim the home office tax deduction by attaching Form 8829, expenses for business use of your home. And again, depending on your business, okay? So how do you file a business tax return? Well, again, this is important to really understand that tax return forms vary by business structure, but the general process includes four typical steps. So you need to gather documents, you need to determine your business structure's tax form, whether it is 1065, 1120S, 1120, or 1040 Schedule C. You need to learn deadlines, filing methods, extensions, and payment options. And if need be, you need to consult an expert. And this can be a CPA or an enrolled agent, an EA, or even a tax attorney. So for more information on how to specifically fill out business tax returns, look into our video library and seek the respective in-depth videos. We have covered these topics at length in other videos, or you can even comment below and we'll send you the right link, okay? The link to a sole proprietorship business return, a partnership, an S Corp, or a C Corp. Let's talk a little bit about business tax typology. Okay, what are the types of business taxes there are? So the taxes you are required to pay depend largely on two elements, very important elements: the type of business you own and the state you do business in. Okay, so according to the IRS, these are the different business taxes you can anticipate. So you have income taxes, and this is actually the general tax program. So all business entities, aside from partnerships, must file and pay taxes on received income during the year. Nearly all states impose the business or corporate income tax, but each state has its own tax laws, okay? So as you prepare your business taxes for the year, make sure you understand your required income tax at the state and local level. Very important. And so besides income taxes, you have estimated taxes. So freelancers, solopreneurs, partners, and S corporation shareholders are expected to make estimated tax payments if they anticipate owing $1,000 or more when they file their return. So you pay estimated taxes quarterly, and determining just how much you must pay every quarter can be confusing for new business owners. So that's why it is important to get your estimation right, as you can receive a hefty penalty for that matter, for missing or underpaying those taxes. Okay, so actually the IRS has a very in-depth guide on estimated taxes. So this really will be very helpful. Or just ask us any question you have, because we have covered this topic at length in the past. So we have a constellation of videos on that topic. So besides income taxes and estimated taxes, you also have self-employment taxes. So the self-employment tax, SE tax, is the Social Security and Medicare tax that contributes to your coverage under the Social Security system. And Social Security coverage provides you with retirement, disability, survivor, and Medicare benefits. You also have employment taxes. So if you have W-2 employees, you must file and pay certain federal taxes that include Social Security and Medicare taxes. And it also has federal income tax withholdings and federal unemployment tax. In addition, each state requires specific state employment taxes, such as unemployment insurance and workers' compensation insurance. So make sure you get all the information you need at your state's Department of Taxation. Very important. You also have, in some cases, excise taxes. So these taxes are paid when purchases are made on certain goods, such as gas, and are often included in the price of the good. So there are many different types of businesses that are required to pay excise taxes, but fuel is usually a major component. So excise taxes are collected mostly from sales of motor fuel, airline tickets, tobacco, alcohol, and health-related goods and services. Okay, and we actually have covered again this topic at length on a video, so you can actually search our library of tax-related videos, or you can just drop us a comment and we will send you the link. Paperwork is very important. When we talk about filling out your income tax return for your business, paperwork is very important. So you first want to gather documents. Okay, so how you file business taxes also depends on the information you have, not just your business structure. Before you begin the process, you want to gather the necessary documents to help you fill out your business tax filing forms. So you need to have your EIN, what we call your taxpayer identification number, your employer identification number, and you also need to have your financial records. Very important. Okay, so your EIN is basically the Social Security, the equivalent of the Social Security for your company. Okay, but you might need to have your TIN, the TINs, the TINs for your partners or members of your LLC or other or subchapter S corporation. Okay, and you also need to have at the business level, you need to have your EIN. If you have employees or structured your business as a corporation or a partnership, you just need to have an EIN. Okay, and you can apply for an EIN through the IRS's website. And the thing is that if you lost your tax identification number, first look through old documents that might contain your TIN, such as a past return or statement. If you still can't find your EIN or TIN, please contact the IRS. Okay, so an employer identification number is your business's federal tax ID number, and most businesses require an EIN to file business taxes, but not all businesses. Okay, according to the IRS, you need to apply for an EIN if any of the following items apply to your business. So they have defined six criteria. If you have employees, if your business is a corporation or partnership, if you have a KIOG, tax-deferred pension plan, if you withhold taxes on income paid to a non-resident alien, if you file employment, excise, or alcohol, tobacco, and firearms tax returns, if you are involved with certain trust, estates, real estate investments, nonprofits, farmers cooperatives, or plan administrators, you need to have an EIN. And if you do require an EIN, you can apply for one again on the IRS's website. So in addition, you need to have your financial records, right? So before filing your return, you need complete financial records, such as financial statements and supporting documents. For example, the receipts. So your financial statements will actually include your income statements, your balance sheet. Okay, and it's also important to understand that you need to have those records because in case of an audit, supporting documents will back up the claims on your tax returns. Very quintessential. let us talk now about the tax form that you require. Okay, now how do you determine your business structure's tax form? Now you got your paperwork ready. Okay, you have understood the several forms of business taxes. Now you need to know which form to file. Remember that individuals use Form 1040. That's U.S. individual income tax return to file their personal taxes. But what form should your company use? So each type of structure uses a different form to report profits and losses. So for sole proprietors, the sole proprietor tax return is Schedule C, profit or loss from business. So you want to attach Schedule C to your personal income tax return. For partnerships, so the partnership tax return is Form 1065, U.S. return of partnership income. So IRS Form 1065 is an information return that must be filed by the partnership and all members of the partnership with their Form 1040. So it is an information return. So you don't pay taxes on your Form 1065. Okay. So the partnership also distributes Schedule K1, partners' share of income, deductions, credit, etc. to all partners. And partners use Schedule K1 to complete parts of their individual returns. For corporations, so most corporations, example, C Corp tax return, use Form 1120, U.S. corporation income tax return to file their company tax returns. However, the S Corp tax returns uses Form 1120S, and that is U.S. income tax return for an S corporation. So there is a distinction you need to have between a corporation which files Form 1120 and an S, so a C corporation which files Form 1120 and an S corporation which files Form 1120S. And then you have limited liability companies, so LLCs. So an LLC's tax return depends on how the business is taxed. So when setting up an LLC, owners choose if they want the LLC to be taxed as a corporation. If this is taxed as a corporation, LLCs must use Form 1120. Otherwise, single member LLCs file Schedule C, and multi-member LLCs file Form 1065. As an LLC, you can also elect to be taxed as an S corp. Okay, not a problem here. Let's talk about compliance, because this is very important to understand the constellation of compliance items you need to abide by. So you need to learn deadlines, filing methods, extensions, and payment arrangements. Very important. So after you complete the tax form, you must file the forms with the IRS. Remember, I've said this before that we have actually covered how to fill out the form deeply or in detail on other shows. So I didn't want to waste time here repeating the stuff we have said before. Okay, so after you complete the tax forms, you must file the forms with the IRS. So like with the type of form you file, your tax filing due date depends on your business structure. So what are the deadlines here? So some years, the deadline falls on a weekend or holiday. If the tax return deadline falls on a weekend or holiday, your deadline is the following business day. Okay, so March 15th is the deadline for partnerships and multi-member LLCs. They must file their Form 1065 with the IRS and distribute Schedule K1 to partners. And S Corps must file Form 1120S by March 15th, the latest. And April 15th is the date for sole proprietors, single member LLCs, and corporations. Okay, so sole proprietors and single member LLCs who submit Schedule C must do so by April 15 by the latest. And corporations that end their year on December 31st, they must submit Form 1120 by April 15. So if you own a corporation with a tax year that ends on a date other than December 31st, your due date is the 15th date on the 4th month after the end of your tax year. However, if your fiscal tax year ends on June 30th, you must file Form 1120 by the 15th day of the 3rd month after the end of your tax year. In other words, September 15th. Very important. Let's talk about the filing methods. So you can file your small business tax returns by mail, or through the IRS e-file system. So depending on your business, you might be required to e-file, and based on our research, it's just a lot better to e-file, okay? And you can make tax payments through the IRS's electronic federal tax payment system, the EFTPS, okay? And in terms of extension, if you want to consider filing a business tax extension, if you need to push back your tax return deadline, that's fine. So if you file Form 1065, you may also request a 6-month extension on Schedule K. However, the 6-month extension does not change the date you must distribute Tax Form K1 to all applicable individuals, that is March 15th. And in terms of payment arrangement, if you are unable to pay your taxes, you want to contact the IRS to make payment arrangements. They are pretty flexible there. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another section of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are still having a conversation about how to fill out income tax return for a business in this year, okay? And we want to talk about expert guidance, and this is really important to have because the thing is, you want to consult an expert, and this could be a CPA or an EA, an enrolled agent. It's important because they will help you prepare and file your tax returns, and professional advisors can also help you accurately file, deduct write-offs, and claim deductions. In terms of experts, you can also reach out to a tax attorney. Okay, so while preparing your business taxes can be overwhelming and time-consuming, investing the time to prepare, calculate, and plan your taxes can help you make smart decisions and avoid hefty penalties and fees. So if you're not comfortable working on your business taxes alone, again, consult with a CPA, EA, or a tax attorney. Let's talk about filing itself. So filing tax forms. So now you understand which forms to file. Now it's really important to familiarize yourself with the right form for your business, okay? So while most tax preparation companies and software packages provide the correct forms for you, it's best to familiarize yourself with them so you can fill them out yourself and accurately and quickly when the time comes, okay? Now, some small businesses don't have enough budget to actually use TaxAct Pro or Intuit Pro or all kinds of professional tax software. So you can do things manually too. I mean, if you have a small operation, if you have a small business, you can fill out the forms manually, and that's not a problem, okay? Now, you just need to make sure that you know what you are doing. And if you run a sole proprietorship or operate your business as a single member LLC, you will likely need to fill out a Schedule C, Form 1040, to report your business's income and losses. In many cases, if you fill out a Schedule C form, you will also need to submit a Schedule SE or self-employment tax form. Because when you think about it, Schedule C is a simple business tax form at only 2 pages long. Okay, so to complete this form, you simply list all the expenses you claim, then subtract your expenses from your earnings to find your net profit or loss. So this is what it is. And finally, you transfer this number to your personal income tax form. And one thing I want to say here is that if basically, let's say your business is a corporation. This is very important for us to understand, right? So you want to have a clear idea of what you need to do. So knowing how to file your taxes properly and on time allows you to spend minimal time working on IRS tax forms. And so I spoke to you about, let's say we have a sole proprietorship. Very important. So if your business is a corporation, or if you opt to treat your LLC as one, then you must prepare a separate corporate tax return on Form 1120 or Form 1120S for S Corps, which is the estimated tax form for corporations in general. So Form 1120 is similar to Schedule C as you calculate your business income in the same way, really. However, this form is often more complicated because it requires more details than Schedule C, and you must fill it you must fill it separately from your personal income tax return. Okay, let's just talk about the common tax forms your business may be required to file depending on the type of business you own. Okay, let's just see so the annual return of income for partnerships is 1065. So U.S. return of partnership income. For income tax, you have a 1040. That's the U.S. individual income tax return. You have a Schedule C, Form 1040. That's profit or loss from business. You have Schedule C Easy, Form 1040. That's net profit from business. You have Schedule E, Form 1040, supplemental income and loss. That's for partnerships. You have 1120. That's U.S. corporation income tax return. That's for C corporations. You have 1120S for S corporations, and you have 1120S Schedule K1 for S corporations. In terms of self-employment, you have Schedule SE for Form 1040, that's self-employment tax. You have for estimated tax, you have a 1040ES, that's estimated tax for individuals, that's 1040ES. Then you have 1120W, which is estimated tax for corporations. Very important to think about that. And for employment tax, you have a Form 941, that's employer's quarterly federal tax return. You have Form 943, employer's annual federal tax return for agricultural employees. You have 944, which is employer's annual federal tax return. For Social Security, Medicare taxes and income tax withholding, you have W-2, that's wage and tax statement that you send to the employee. And you have W-3, which is a transmittal of wage and tax statements, and you send this to the Social Security Administration. In terms of federal unemployment tax, you have in terms of the FUTA taxes, we have actually covered the FUTA tax on another show. So you have to file Form 940, employer's annual federal unemployment tax return. So I want to talk to you now about the deadlines, extensions, and past due. It's very important to have a clear idea about that, okay? So if you don't file your business taxes on time and you become delinquent, you may face hefty penalties, hefty fines, and back taxes. So it's quite essential to know when they are due. So here is some of the most important business tax due dates for the upcoming year. So January 15th, if you are a sole proprietor, file and pay quarterly estimated tax for the last quarter of last year using Form 1040ES. For February 1st, all businesses. So this is the deadline to provide information statements, for example, Form 1099 and 1099 NEC to recipients of certain payments during last year. It's also the deadline to provide employees with W-2 for last year. It's the deadline to file Form W-3, transmittal of wage and tax statements, including copy A of all W-2s issued. You need to file and pay federal unemployment tax for last year using Form 940. File and pay any withheld income, Social Security, and Medicare taxes for the fourth quarter of last year using either Form 941 or Form 944. Okay, so if you made all payments last year on time and in full, this deadline is February 10. Very important, not February 1, but February 10. And for sole proprietors, in addition to the above, they may choose to file and pay last year's income tax if they did not make a final quarterly payments of estimated income tax for last year by the due date of January 15th. Okay, so filing and paying any amount due by this date will avoid a penalty for a late payment. So use Form 1040 or 1040SR and file a separate Schedule C for each business or a separate Schedule F for each farm business. February 15th. So all businesses must provide information statement to recipients of certain payments during last year using Form 1099B or 1099S. They need to begin with withholding income tax from any employee who did not give you a W-4 for last year. March 1st, all businesses must file information returns for payments made last year using certain forms of a 1099, and you can use Form 1096 to summarize and transmit these payments. March 15th, partnerships must file last year's income tax return using Form 1065. They must provide each partner with a Schedule K1 of Form 65. They must file Form 7004 to request an automatic 6-month extension. For S Corp, they must file an income tax return for last year using Form 1120S and pay any tax due. They must provide each shareholder with Schedule K1 Form 1120S, and they must file Form 7004. Okay, so 7004 to request automatic 6-month extension and pay estimated tax owed. Very important. March 31st. So all businesses must file 1099 and similar forms electronically. Okay, April 15th. For sole proprietors, they must file and pay your personal income tax forms 1040 or 1040 SR. You want to file a separate Schedule C for each business or a separate Schedule F for each farm business. Okay, for an automatic 6-month extension, file Form 4868 and pay the estimated amount owed. If income was more than $400, you want to pay self-employment tax. So use Form 1040 or 1040 SR, Schedule SE. And you also need to file and pay the first quarter of this year estimated income tax using Form 1040 ES. For corporations, you want to file income tax returns for last year using Form 1120, pay any tax due. You want to file for automatic extension using Form 7004. Make sure to deposit estimated taxes and deposit first quarter estimated tax for this year and use worksheet 1120W. April 30th. For all businesses must file and pay withheld Social Security, Medicare, and income tax for the first quarter of this year. Use Form 941 if you made payments on time and in full. If you did that, the deadline is May 10th, not April 30th. And you need to do a deposit federal unemployment tax if amount owed through March is more than $500. For June 15th, sole proprietors must file and pay second quarter estimated income tax for this year using Form 1040 ES. For corporations, they need to deposit second estimated income tax payments for this year. August 1st, all businesses must file and pay withheld Social Security, Medicare, and income tax for second quarter of this year, Form 941. And if you made payments on time and in full, deadline is August 10th. Okay, you need to deposit federal unemployment tax if amount owed through June is more than $500. If you have an employee pension, profit sharing, or stock bonus plan, you need to file Form 5500 or 5500 EZ for last year. September 15th, for sole proprietors must file and pay third quarter estimated income tax for this year using Form 1040 ES. For partnerships, they need to file last year income tax return using Form 1065 if you requested a 6-month extension. For S corporation, you need to file income tax return for last year. You need to file Form 1120S if you requested a 6-month extension. And you need to provide each shareholder a copy of Schedule K1 Form 1120S. Corporation must deposit the third installment of estimated income tax using worksheet 1120W to estimate. Very important. And October 15th, really, which is important also, sole proprietors, if you filed for a 6-month extension of income tax, you need to file and pay using Form 1040 or 1040 SR. This will depend on your situation. Okay, you need to file a separate Schedule C for each business or a separate Schedule F for each farm business. Remember, I said each separate. Okay, so if you have 3 businesses, then you need to file Form Schedule C. You need to file Schedule C for three businesses. For corporations, if you file for a 6-month extension of income tax, you need to file and pay using Form for October 15th here. If you're a sole proprietor, if you file for a 6-month extension of income tax, you want to file and pay using Forms 1040 or 1040 SR. So you want to file a separate Schedule C for each business or a separate Schedule F for each farm business. That means what? That means that if you are a sole proprietorship and you have multiple businesses throughout the year, let's say you have 3 businesses, you need to file 3 Schedule Cs, 3 Schedules C. Very important. For corporation, if you filed for a 6-month extension of income tax, you need to file and pay using Form 1120. Very important. So November 1st, all businesses must file and pay withheld Social Security, Medicare, and income tax for 3rd quarter of this year using Form 941. If you made payments on time and in full, the deadline is pushed 9 days later. So instead of November 1st, you actually have to pay November 10th, which is really great. And you need to deposit federal unemployment tax if amount owed through September is over $500. So the IRS has a threshold that you need to maintain if you want to really if you want to comply with tax laws. Okay, and December 15th for corporations in general, you need to deposit the 4th installment of estimated income tax using worksheet 1120W. So determine which of these dates apply to your business, and adding in your state and local deadlines and sending reminders will help your business avoid costly penalties and help you avoid unnecessary worry. So the thing that we advise you to do right now is to actually have a reminder at the business level where you have maybe 2 weeks before the due date or 1 month before the due date, you have pop-ups that actually remind you of what to do. That way you are always on top. You can stay on top of all the compliance requirements that you have, because this deadlines can be confusing. Because, I mean, you saw it. I mean, they can be a lot. Thinking about January 15th, February 1st, February 15th, March 1st, March 15th, March 31st, April 15th, April 30th, June 15th, August 1st, September 15th, October 15th, November 1st, and December 15th. You are speaking about a lot of dates to remember. And think about it, as a business owner, you know that you have limited time to take care of tax issues. You have a business to run. You have profits to make. You have revenue to seek. You need to seek business. You need to grow your business. You don't want to become a tax accountant. But it's important to have those elements on your calendar. And the cool thing is, this is what I've advocated, that you actually hire an expert, because you can outsource the whole thing to that person, and the person will have to take care of it. So it wouldn't be your problem anymore. Okay, so this is what it is. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about how to fill out income tax return for a business this year. So I've given you general guidelines you need to know, a complete guide to filing your business taxes this year. So we spoke about overview. I gave you an overview, business tax typology, the different types of business taxes. You have the paperwork that you need to gather, the tax form required, the compliance you need to keep in mind, the expert guidance you need to seek if needed, and the filing deadlines. Very important. Thank you so much for your attention. God bless you. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.